Welcome back to the deep dive. We have just a fascinating stack of sources today. They detail a royal transformation story that, on the surface, it sounds like the most famous fairy tale trope of all time.
Right, the princess, the frog, a kiss. We've heard it a million times.
Exactly, but you have to stop right there. Because as we plunged into Princess Emeralda's personal notes and all the magical accounts around her, we realized it's less a fable and more a handbook on advanced magic.
Oh, for sure. On magical systems, failure analysis, and the surprisingly complex rules of reverse enchantment.
Yeah.
That's absolutely right. Our mission today is really focused on magical forensics, but also on, personal development. We are deep diving into the accounts of Princess Emeralda, or Emma, as she's called, of Greater Greensward, and we're starting at the exact desperate moment she decides to flee her castle life.
And we cover everything. I mean, the oppressive nature of royal life, the discovery of these ancient curses, and yes, the pretty grim details of what it takes to survive as a frog.
Yeah.
So the ultimate mission for you, the learner, is to unpack how that one single, seemingly simple act, a desperate kiss in a swamp, managed to expose an entire hidden magical world.
And not just that, it forced two, frankly, spoiled royals to learn these gritty, immediate survival skills.
And most importantly, it confirmed the existence of these complex, interlocking magical rules that seem to govern all enchantment.
It's an investigation into the massive collateral damage of a single broken spell. So the core question for us to keep coming back to is, how did Emma's active decision to run away from one problem, this unwanted fiancé, lead her straight into a magical trap that in the end actually taught her who she was?
And gave her the courage to face that original problem.
Exactly. So let's unpack this whole journey, starting with why she ran in the first place.
Okay, so we have to start with Emma's identity crisis. It's the fundamental force driving this entire narrative.
Absolutely. At 14 years old, she's already operating under this just crushing weight of expectation.
And her self-perception is abysmal.
Oh, it's terrible. She sees herself as clumsy, ungraceful, and just constantly failing to meet these incredibly high standards for what a princess is supposed to be.
She's like a walking contradiction to the royal ideal.
She is, and the sources are so specific about it. The expectations from her mother, Queen Chartreuse, are relentless. And Emma lives in this constant state of contrast.
The laugh is the best example.
It's the most memorable one, for sure. When she's genuinely amused, she doesn't get that delicate tinkling of a bell sound they want. She describes it herself as the bray of a donkey.
Wow.
That level of self-criticism, and it's all based on these external royal metrics, it's just so damaging.
And the queen, her mother, does nothing to help.
Nothing. The criticism is relentless. She's always being told to stand up straight, don't slouch.
Right.
And there's this constant focus on her messy hair or, the smudge that's inevitably on her gown.
Emma even says she rarely sees her mother, which she thinks is a blessing, but when she does.
It's just a continuous stream of criticism. It reinforces this idea that Emma isn't a person. She's a project that needs constant fixing.
So this pressure cooker environment, it needs an escape valve. And that valve gets turned very quickly by the catalyst for her escape.
Prince Jorge.
Prince Jorge. He's the queen's favorite, the perfect political match. But for Emma, he is utterly repugnant.
She describes him in these really visceral terms: obnoxious, bragging, totally self-obsessed.
He barely even acknowledges she exists.
No, she notes he treats her like a rather dull piece of heavy furniture.
That's brutal.
Yeah, in a room he'd rather just redecorate. And the thought of spending her life with that kind of arrogance is what finally breaks her.
And we get that great confirmation later in the sources that her assessment of Jorge is 100% correct.
Oh, totally. He's a fraud. And it's the detail from the frog, from Eadric, that just seals it.
The shoes.
The shoes. Jorge has this strange, very pronounced fondness for ladies' shoes. He keeps an entire locked trunk of them, silk slippers, riding boots in his bedchamber.
It's such a bizarre, specific detail. And it just completely deflates Jorge's public image and proves Emma's instincts were right. She had to get away from this guy.
So she bolts.
She runs, abandons her duties and heads for the one place the queen would never ever follow her.
Swamp.
The swamp. It's her sanctuary. But even her escape is, well, characteristically clumsy.
Yeah, it's a moment that just perfectly defines her self-image at the time. She gets startled by a snake, not even a big one, just a garden snake. She catches her heel on a root, and in that desperate attempt to balance, her long, heavy skirts just conspire against her.
And she goes down hard. The fabric soaks up the, quote, pungent odor of the swamp. She's literally marked by her refuge.
And right there, at her lowest, muddiest moment, that's when she meets the talking frog.
And it is an immediate clash of egos. The frog, Eadric, is just instantly rude.
Yes, the source describes him as having this throaty, rough voice and a permanent scowl. And he doesn't criticize her for trespassing. He criticizes her for driving away his lunch, a few grasshoppers.
So she's just fled one obnoxious prince, only to find, as she puts it, an obnoxious frog who says he's a prince. It's just a truly awful day for her.
It is. And Eadric launches right into his backstory, which is, classic fairy tale stuff.
Claims he's a prince, turned into a frog by an evil witch named Mudine because he, criticized her fashion sense?
Pretty much. And he wastes no time. He gets right to the point. The remedy is a kiss from a princess.
And Emma's reaction here is perfect.
Yeah.
It's the first real sign that she is not a typical princess.
Right. She's pragmatic, almost scientific. She rejects the idea immediately, not because he's ugly, but because of biology.
Potential disease, the slimy lips.
And the crucial point that he just needs any old princess.
Yes.
She argues that her first kiss shouldn't be some kind of, magical utilitarian transaction. She literally backs away, shuddering.
And this is where we have to shift from the character story into really the first major aha moment of our deep dive.
The pragmatism of fairy tale magic.
Exactly. Eadric has to counter her refusal. And in doing so, he reveals the underlying laws of their magical reality.
We have to pause here because this is the theoretical framework for the whole story. Eadric explains that the curse must have a known remedy. He lays out two core principles. First, if a spell were too easy to break, it wouldn't be strong enough to hold.
Makes sense. A light breeze couldn't turn him back.
Right. But second, and this is the important part, if the spell were absolutely impossible to reverse, it would go against what he calls the natural laws of magic.
So the spell itself wouldn't be able to last.
It would destabilize.
Okay, let me challenge that for a second because it sounds contradictory. If magical laws demand, as he says, a certain degree of fairness, does that mean the witch, Mudine, is incompetent or limited? Why would an evil witch build a failsafe into a curse?
And that is the deep dive question, right? What the sources imply is that the magical infrastructure itself is self-correcting. The fairness isn't about the witch's conscience.
Of course not.
It's about the limits of magical energy. A curse is a huge expenditure of energy.
Okay.
And to maintain that state of transformation, the magic needs an outlet, a specifically designed release valve that has to be disclosed to someone.
So it's not moral fairness, it's thermodynamic fairness.
That is a perfect way to put it, yes. The system requires an exit mechanism to remain stable. Otherwise, the whole spell would just collapse.
That changes the entire premise of fairy tale curses.
Right.
The rescue is already built into the disaster.
Exactly. It completely reframes the trope. The quest isn't about finding a solution. It's about having the courage to execute the pre-programmed one.
And Eadric has his own stakes in this. He reveals he was looking for, meadwork.
Meadwork, yeah. And because of his transformation, his rival back at court won his princess by default. So the problem is urgent, and now Emma understands why he's so insistent.
So now that Emma knows the rules, simple remedy, huge stakes, she has a decision. But she can't process this alone.
No, so she retreats to the one place in the castle that is a guaranteed sanctuary.
Her Aunt Gracina's tower.
Gracina is such an important figure. She is Queen Chartreuse's sister, which makes the contrast just so stark.
Right.
Gracina, the Green Witch, is Emma's greatest teacher and, critically, the only family member who doesn't constantly criticize her.
She represents a completely different path to power, one that's the total opposite of the Queen's suffocating expectations.
And her apartments reflect that. The main castle is cold and gloomy, but Gracina's tower...
The sources paint this beautiful, sensory-rich scene. It's warm, inviting. There's a small fire that never needs new logs.
Glowing witches' lights cast this gentle, rosy light, and the floor has these thick, woven green rugs that make the stone feel like a forest floor.
And the smells. Mint, pine, clover.
It's a sanctuary built on natural, organic magic. Her room is filled with these delicate wonders, crystalline flowers from the fairies.
With glass butterflies on them whose wings click softly, like magical background music.
And the best detail, the large saltwater bowl.
With the miniature castle inside, Emma remembers seeing a tiny mermaid dart behind one of the replica doors once.
It's such subtle, profound magic. It shows that Gracina's power is gentle, it's curious, and this environment is slowly, quietly normalizing the idea of successful magic for Emma.
Yet despite all this, Emma has this intense magical self-doubt,
Oh, it's huge, and it's fueled entirely by these past messy failures. She is convinced she is terrible at magic.
which leads to her saying over and over, I don't want to be a witch.
And her track record, to be fair, is hilarious.
The crabapple dumplings
They grew claws and ran away.
and the cleaning spell.
Oh, the cleaning spell from 4 months ago is still active and way too strong. It whisks any dropped item, a hairpin, a stocking, straight to the dung heap behind the stables.
That is a powerful, highly specific, and utterly inconvenient spell failure.
It is. And this contrast between her ambition and her execution is the core of her block. Grisina sees it differently, though.
Right. Grisina insists she has potential. She keeps saying, oh, Emma, of course you want to be a witch. She thinks Emma's failures are just an over-application of power.
Not a lack of talent. Her spells are too effective. She just lacks control.
And we see Grisina's easy command of magic right there. She turns the huge family hound, Bowser, into a yellow duckling just for fun.
It's effortless, and it stands in stark contrast to Emma's fear that if she tries magic, she'll end up stuck head down in a desert somewhere.
It's intuition versus formula. Grisina believes Emma has the flair, the natural talent.
But Emma is looking for predictable outcomes, and when she gets dumplings with legs, she sees it as total failure, not raw, untamed power.
She's looking for reasons not to try.
So she finally breaks down and tells Grisina about the talking frog, and Grisina confirms it all.
Human to frog is a simple spell, she says, and the kiss remedy is standard.
And then the plot thickens with this shared history. Grisina reveals she spent time kissing frogs herself.
Why?
She was looking for her betrothed, Haywood, who she suspected her grandmother had transformed years ago.
Wow. So that detail humanizes Grisina's knowledge. It shows Emma that even accomplished witches have these messy, magical love lives.
But while the rules are confirmed, the pressure on Emma just gets worse.
Because Queen Chartreuse has scheduled her wedding to Prince Jorge for the end of the summer.
That timing is everything. Grisina confirms the magic, but she offers no escape from the royal reality. Emma is trapped.
It's either a miserable life with Jorge or a slimy, rude amphibian.
This panic, this complete lack of agency, it pushes her to the breaking point. And the phrase she uses is so profound.
I'd rather marry you, Eadric, than Prince Jorge.
It's a statement that shows she prefers the unknown, magical chaos over the known, suffocating predictability of her life.
The desire for freedom from Jorge finally overcomes her fear of slimy lips.
And so she makes the rash decision, but it's done with this unexpected tenderness.
Right. She kneels down, takes out her handkerchief, and carefully cleans the dried fly feed off his lips. She's giving the act a weird kind of respect.
And the kiss itself, it's not passive. It is a massive discharge of energy.
She closes her eyes, expecting Eadric to change. Instead, she feels this intense sensory overload.
A tingling, a shiver, a powerful golden fuzzy feeling.
A rushing wind whips around them, and then she collapses. She says it was like being filled with a gray cloud.
That intensity tells us immediately. This was not a simple reversal. This was a magical explosion.
When Emma wakes up, the world is just radically different. We are plunged immediately into the concept of reverse magic.
Her senses are violently amplified. Colors are painfully bright.
She's overwhelmed by the sour smell of swamp muck.
And the sound, the hum of a million insects nearly deafens her. It's just sensory overload.
And the physical shock is devastating. She looks down and sees she's short, plump, covered in mottled green skin.
Webbed feet, 4 crooked fingers. The kiss didn't reverse Eadric.
It reversed her.
She didn't break the curse, she joined it. She's a frog.
But this disaster has an immediate ironic silver lining. The dog, Bowser, lunges at her.
And in pure panic, she instinctively loops into the water. As a human, Emma was terrified of deep water.
Right, she thought she'd drown.
But as a frog, she discovers she can swim perfectly, naturally. She feels this exhilarating freedom and capability without those heavy skirts holding her down.
This is the critical pivot point for her character. Her clumsiness, the thing that defined her as a failed princess, is instantly gone.
Replaced by this natural, unthinking agility, the magical disaster immediately gives her a skill she never had as a human.
It's a profound statement. Emma wasn't clumsy, she was just misaligned with her environment.
Meanwhile, Eadric confirms the kiss backfired, and because of the reversal bracelet she was wearing, which we'll get to, their enchantments are now linked.
But instead of being horrified, Eadric is ecstatic.
He's thrilled. He says, "Your bad luck is my good fortune. Now I have someone to talk to."
And he reveals he's actually started to enjoy being a frog.
Yeah, he loves the lack of responsibility. He lists all the things he doesn't have to do anymore: slaying dragons, beheading ogres, shutting down troll extortion rings.
All the things he claims he was famous for.
Right. Now his worries are just food and not being eaten. It's a surprising embrace of simplicity.
So Eadric has to shift from being an obnoxious prince to being a survival mentor.
And he immediately tries to impress on her the need for observation. Stop thinking about the past, start looking around, or you're going to die.
Then comes the first lesson: how to eat.
He flicks out his tongue and snares a dragonfly, but then we get that fantastic, bizarre detail about his hobby.
He doesn't just eat it.
No, he carefully removes the wings. He explains that his dragonfly wing collection is, and he's totally serious, the largest and most comprehensive in the world.
We have to pause here on his vanity.
Hmm.
Even as a frog focused on survival, he keeps this weird collector's narcissism.
Absolutely. The survival skills are real, but the princely ego is fully intact. It's just been repurposed for smaller, shinier things.
It's not just a hobby, it's a competitive hobby.
It tells you his transformation didn't change his character. It just changed his scale.
Now for Emma's first meal, the resistance is huge. She is determined to hold on to her human identity.
So she tries to eat a fallen plum, but it's sour, rotten, inedible.
The plum is her old world sweet on the surface, but corrupted.
And out of frustration, and with Eadric's prodding, she finally attempts to swallow a fly. He has to coach her on the physics of it.
You have to blink, which pushes your eyeballs down on your throat to force the prey down.
Which is just, wow.
And the result confirms her total physical transformation. She admits it's disgusting, but...
While the plum was sour, the fly was kind of sweet.
And Eadric jumps on this. You may still be a princess at heart, but you're living in a frog's body, and frogs like flies.
Her body has accepted the curse, even if her mind hasn't.
But survival isn't the mission. Untransformation is. And Emma's obvious plan run back to Gracina is immediately shot down by Eadric.
And here we circle back to the natural laws of magic. Eadric explains that Gracina can't just undo another witch's spell.
Especially not a powerful one like Mudine's.
Right. If Gracina tried to interfere, or if they mixed her magic with Mudine's curse, it would make the spell harder, maybe even impossible, to undo.
So the magical system has strict jurisdiction. You have to go to the originator.
Precisely. The original source holds the keys. They have to go to Mudine. And Eadric has a plan.
Mudine collects rare plants at a specific spot on the night of the full moon.
Which is only 2 nights away. The danger is acute, and Emma has to rely completely on Eadric and the hope that this witch will be willing to help them.
So with the full moon just 2 nights away, they start traveling. And as they go, Eadric gives us a bit more context on Mudine.
He paints this picture of a truly unkempt witch. Filthy gown, terrible smell, no personal hygiene whatsoever.
And Eadric, ever the judgmental prince, says again that he criticized her clothes and hygiene.
It just shows his fatal flaw. He judges entirely on the surface, which is why he got trapped by magic in the first place.
And that lack of observation leads them straight into an ambush by the wrong witch.
They run into a young woman named Vanaby, and Emma, forgetting they are now prized magical ingredients, blurts out their identities.
I'm Prince Eadric. This is Princess Emeralda. A disastrous mistake.
Because Vanaby is actively hunting for talking frogs. She needs 2 nice, strong specimens for her spell. She scoops them up, and that's that.
Vanaby's lair is just grim, dirty, dark, filled with cages. It's immediate evidence she's a pretender.
Yeah, she has none of the organic flair that defines Gracina's magic. We learn she just relies on reading old spells she got from Udine's books.
She's trying to get power through rote memorization, not real talent.
And that contrast between her and Gracina is so central to Emma's own development. Gracina is power through connection. Vanaby is power through mimicry and desperation.
And her goal is chilling, everlasting youth and beauty.
To get it, she needs unusual components, and the sources are very clear and gruesome here.
Specifically, the tongues and toes of talking frogs.
It's a fate worse than death. They'd be maimed and left to suffer.
And the decor just reinforces the horror. Jars with living body parts, eyeballs bobbing in liquid, squirming lizard lips, snuffling pig snouts.
It's not high magic. It's just grim, low-level alchemy powered by cruelty.
But there is one valuable artifact there. A vial of swirling colored gases labeled dragon's breath.
Which Gracina later confirms Vanaby could never have gotten on her own. It must have been stolen from Udine.
Inside their cage, Emma meets the allies who will help them escape. And they're not typical fairy tale sidekicks.
No, they are prisoners with specialized knowledge. There's Little Stinker, a bossy but well-informed bat.
Eenie, Meanie, and Mo, the spiders. Clifford and Louise, the mice who finish each other's sentences.
And Fang, a large, silent, and very intimidating snake.
So the moment of truth comes. Vanity needs to prepare for her ritual, so she gives them a sleeping potion.
On a nightcrawler worm, which Eadric, ever the impulsive eater, snaps up immediately.
Despite Emma screaming at him not to.
And Lil Stinker, the bat, confirms it's the bad stuff, the kind used on Sleeping Beauty and Snow White, enough to put him in a century-long slumber.
So Eadric is out cold, and Emma is alone, facing imminent dismemberment.
And this realization that the prince is useless and survival is on her, that's what triggers her magical awakening.
Lil Stinker realizes Emma has a unique asset.
She can read.
In this world, literacy is presented as a rare and powerful skill, especially for using Mudine's powerful spellbooks.
Emma needs a test, and she has one. She got a terrible poison oak rash from Vanaby's sack, and it's driving her crazy.
She finds the rash rid spell, reads it aloud, using dramatic gestures like Lil Stinker told her to.
And it works instantly. A blast of cold air rips through the cottage, and the rash is just gone.
And Lil Stinker reveals the truth. The theatrics were just for show.
The spell worked because Emma has the flair. This is the pivotal moment. Emma realizes she isn't clumsy, she's powerful.
Her self-doubt just starts to dissolve.
So, armed with this new confidence, she goes for the big one, the easy open spell.
Unlatch, unlock, undo, untie. This time, no theatrics, just her own voice.
And the result is chaos. A sound like thunder shakes the cottage, a whirlwind erupts, and every single container, lid, shutter, and cage in the building pops open.
Including the 2 barrels by the fire. Trash can and trash can.
A crucial distinction. The trash can is fine, but the trash can, the one magically sealed so trash couldn't escape, snaps open and releases 3 slimy, writhing tentacles.
Which confirms a rule of powerful magic. It doesn't just open locks, it reverses containment spells.
Exactly. The spell reversed the magic that imprisoned the contents. It shows how dangerous Vanaby's mimicry is. She doesn't understand the consequences.
Now, amid the chaos, Lil Stinker tells him to grab a payload. He drags the vial of dragon's breath over to them.
His reasoning is that without this rare ingredient, Vanaby won't have a reason to hunt other talking frogs.
It's an altruistic shift for Emma. She's not just escaping, she's protecting others now.
They get out, and she secures new companions. Fang, the snake, reluctantly agrees to scout ahead.
And Emma uses her new persuasive skills to recruit Lil Stinker, promising him a home with her real witch aunt, Christina.
And the alliance is immediately complex. Lil Stinker doesn't trust Fang, and Fang doesn't trust Eadric.
This strange, mismatched company. A frog princess, a sleeping frog prince. A skeptical snake and a bossy bat sets off into the forest, relying entirely on Emma's new confidence. The journey back to the castle is filled with dangers that really highlight how unstable the magical world is.
Yeah, they see giant footprints, singed trees from a dragon. There's this sense that the forest itself is warped by magic.
And these dangers test their new alliance immediately. One evening, they have this terrifying near miss with an owl.
The predator just swoops down on them, drawn by the frog scent. And this is where Fang, the silent snake, proves his value.
The terrifying snake Emma had feared her whole life whips his body between her and the owl.
He hisses, strikes at the predator, and saves her life. The owl just flaps away.
And this is a huge moment for Emma. It completely overturns her lifelong fear of snakes. She realizes Fang is protective and kind.
She learns that the most helpful friend can come in the most feared form.
Eadric, meanwhile, eventually wakes up from the sleeping potion and just dismisses the whole owl attack as a terrible nightmare.
He's still completely wrapped up in his own experience.
And his vanity comes roaring back almost immediately. They encounter a nymph by a pool of water.
And Eadric instantly forgets he's a frog and becomes ridiculously lovesick.
He starts calling her his sun, moon, and stars, trying to woo her with this over-the-top romantic language.
And the nymph is just utterly cruel and dismissive.
She points out the reality of his situation, telling him, "You lay those disgusting gooey eggs and foul my nice clean water."
His human vanity is just completely crushed by his frog reality.
Despite all these distractions, they finally make it back to the castle. And the moat challenge is the next big obstacle.
The moat, which was always just a decorative feature to her, now reeks of decaying garbage amplified by their frog senses.
And the things living in it are biological horrors. large fish with swollen, deformed eyes.
One with a shrunken third eye forming between the other two. It's a sign of severe magical contamination from the castle's waste.
It's a graphic, disgusting image of royal neglect.
But using Eadric's childhood knowledge of the castle's secret roots and their new frog agility, they find a hidden path inside.
They manage to get in, but they have one last fright. They narrowly escape Bowser, the huge white dog, again.
This time by hiding in his water bucket in the Great Hall.
They finally reach Gracina's tower door. But before they can knock, Eadric stops her.
And this is the culmination of his emotional journey, a complete reversal from the arrogant prince we met in the swamp.
He confesses his fear. He admits he has genuinely enjoyed being a frog with Emma.
He says it wouldn't be so awful if we had to stay frogs, not if we were together.
It's a huge admission of humility and affection. The fear of losing Emma now outweighs his ambition to be human again.
The journey forced both of them to value capability and loyalty over appearance. And that sets the stage for the final, technical resolution of the curse.
So Gracina is overjoyed to see them, or hear them. She recognizes Emma by her distinct donkey bray laugh coming from a tiny frog.
But she's also deeply concerned, and she immediately moves into, like, a forensic magical diagnosis.
First step, the originator.
Right. Gracina says Mudine is likely not dead. If she were, the spell would have broken automatically.
Those natural laws of magic again. The stability mechanism would release the energy.
Exactly. Gracina speculates Mudine is either sick, resting, or maybe seeing a witch doctor.
And then she identifies the actual culprit for the failed first kiss, the charm reversal bracelet she gave Emma years ago.
This is a complex piece of magical tech. The bracelet was designed to reverse someone else's spell, a magical anti-venom.
But because Emma wore it during the kiss, the moment of magical transference, it didn't just target Eadric.
It reversed her own human state into a frog state.
It created a systemic error, linking their enchantments.
So now the rule is they have to both return to human form together, which means a second kiss with the bracelet.
Okay, let's explore that. So the bracelet is like a magnet that flips polarity.
Exactly. Eadric's curse was a positive charge, frog. Emma's human state was a negative charge, human. The kiss should reverse Eadric to human.
But the bracelet, acting on Emma, flipped her polarity, turning her human state into a frog state.
Which stabilized the whole system as two linked positive charges. So the solution is to wear the bracelet and kiss again to force a full reversal on both of them.
Simple, dangerous, but actionable.
Except the bracelet is gone.
Stolen by an otter. And getting it back is complicated by a long-hidden family secret that Gracina finally has to reveal.
She drops a bombshell. The ancient curse of the Green Witch line.
Her well-known allergy to flowers is actually a powerful, generations-old curse placed on all female descendants of the first Green Witch, Hazel.
And the curse was laid by an insulted fairy.
Yes, who, in a fit of pique over running out of bouquets at a party, decided to ruin the entire witch line.
And the curse manifests at age 16, just 2 years away for Emma.
And the effects are grotesque. Touching certain flowers, like the larkspur around the otter's den, results in this hideous transformation. Coarse hair, a hooked nose, warts, an ugly cackle. And an unpleasant disposition. It's designed to strip them of their power and influence. And Gracina confirms Emma's own grandmother suffered this exact fate.
Which means Gracina can't go near the larkspur to get the bracelet. Emma, in her frog form, is the only one who can safely navigate the deadly flowers.
She's ironically protected by the very curse that needs reversing.
To help her, Gracina uses some advanced magic. A dragon scale. It acts as a magical compass. Red means hot, for the right direction. Blue stands for cold, for the wrong one.
So Emma, now validated by her success in Vanaby's cottage, confidently goes alone. She uses her newfound flair.
She uses a trick she learned from Vanaby's spellbooks. She customizes the hair so new spell to dye the otter's fur a shocking shade of turquoise.
And she makes a costume, convincing the vain otter she's a swamp fairy here to deal with his disrespect of royal artifacts.
It works perfectly. The otter gives her the bracelet, but then she runs into the real swamp fairy,
who tries to fine her for impersonation and steal the bracelet.
But the negotiation is quick. The moment the real fairy hears about the reversal bracelet and realizes it might turn her into a frog, she panics.
She shoves the bracelet back at Emma and flees in terror.
Emma's reputation as a chaos agent is spreading.
So with the bracelet finally secured, she rushes back to Eadric. She puts it on and kisses him long and hard.
And the transformation is immediate and powerful, just like the first time. The tingling, the golden fuzzy feeling, the wind, they're human again.
Emma is the clumsy princess again, but with the confidence of a witch. Eadric is the prince again, but humbled.
But the magic being so violently reversed causes a dramatic, hilarious side effect.
The huge white dog, Bowser, who is lurking nearby, collapses.
And in a flash of light, Bowser transforms into Eadric's loyal horse, Bright Country.
Who explains he was looking for Eadric and had the constant, overwhelming urge to sniff everything while he was a dog.
The intimidating hound Emma had feared her whole life was actually Eadric's loyal steed, trapped in his own magical mishap.
And the good news keeps coming. Gracina returns and identifies the turquoise otter.
It's Haywood, her fiancé, transformed years ago by Emma's grandmother.
She kisses him, and while the reversal isn't immediate, they have the means to achieve it now with the dragon's breath they saved.
And Haywood, still an otter, declares Emma's strategic plan to use future grandchildren as leverage against her grandmother is genius.
She has become the problem solver for generations of magical messes.
So in the end, Emma is human. She's confirmed her magical talent, her flair. Gracina was right all along. She's meant to be a witch.
She also retains the ability to talk to animals because she was one.
And she finally faces her last nemesis, Queen Chartreuse and the unwanted marriage.
She rejects it outright. Threatens to tell all her mother's friends about her adventures as a frog and the grim state of the moat if the wedding goes forward.
Her new confidence allows her to just stare down her mother's crushing expectations.
And the story ends not with that second magical kiss. That was transactional. It ends with the realization of true affection. Emma removes the bracelet entirely and kisses Eadric. This time, a long, slow kiss that was soft and gentle and very sweet.
She found a companion who valued her not for her title, but for her courage, her wit, and her ability to survive as a mottled green amphibian.
You know, looking back across all the source material on Emma, the most impactful thing is the depth of the magical system it reveals. Spells aren't arbitrary. They're interconnected systems, and they require you to seek out specific, known remedies.
And if you interrupt those remedies with external magical tech, like a simple charm bracelet, the results are radically reversed and linked.
It causes this massive, unintended collateral damage. The magical world is just governed by these complex rules of cause and consequence.
But what stands out even more than the magic, I think, is Emma's incredible personal growth.
Oh, absolutely. She starts as this clumsy, criticized princess, fleeing an obligation, convinced she's incapable of anything important.
And she ends as a confident young woman who embraced survival, found her hidden magical talent, and, secured a companion who loved her for her true brave self.
A woman who wasn't afraid to swallow a fly, face down a real fairy, or turn an otter turquoise.
Her journey was about shedding those delicate, false expectations of royalty to embrace the grit and capability she found in the swamp.
She realized that the very people and creatures she dismissed or feared at the beginning, the rude frog, the silent snake, the bossy bat, even her own donkey bray laugh.
They became her strongest allies and most powerful assets.
Yeah. She had to lose her identity as a princess to truly discover her own natural flair.
And that leads to our final provocative thought for you, the learner. Emma realized that the swamp, the place she initially ran to for escape, was actually the place where friends and heroes could come in many forms.
So consider what unexpected form your greatest mentor or your deepest challenge might take, especially when you're most focused on just the surface appearance of things. Maybe the person or the idea you are desperately trying to avoid holds the key to unlocking your greatest strength.